Hello there. Within the last hour, the authorities in Los Angeles have been giving more details about their investigation into the deaths of the actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa. They say he died from heart disease after his wife passed away from a rare infectious illness.
When FBI agents entered Gene Hackman's mansion, they were taken aback by what they discovered. It was a shock to them to discover what was concealed within the famous actor's property. Their New Mexico home was the site of the discovery of the bodies of the Hollywood legend and his wife, Betsy. Gene Hackman's private life roles have always been his claim to fame. The discovery led many to wonder about his hidden history and what he might have been hiding all these years. Had it always been a mystery, a hidden treasure, or something sinister? With each new piece of information, the question of what Gene Hackman was like away from the cameras continues to resurface. Come explore the details with us in this video. The startling finding that their bodies were discovered in their expansive Santa Fe, New Mexico home, casting a shadow of suspicion over the deaths of two-time Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Initial reports indicated carbon monoxide poisoning as the cause, and authorities initially stated that there were no indications of foul play. But now, shockingly, authorities are calling their deaths suspicious and are currently conducting a thorough investigation. The startling finding was made by two maintenance workers. They showed up to the property for regular maintenance and discovered the front door ajar, as stated in the search warrant. At the same time, two additional dogs were spotted roaming freely around the property. The discovery of a dead dog inside a crate further perplexed investigators and cast doubt on the whole investigation. The decayed and mummified remains of Betsy Arakawa and Gene Hackman made it clear that they had been dead for quite some time prior to their discovery. Authorities searched the house and found Betsy Arakawa in the restroom. Near a countertop, where an open pill container and numerous pills lay scattered, she lay down and rested. This led people to wonder if she had overdosed or if something sinister had transpired. "No way is it adding up to me," one seasoned investigator said, expressing his perplexion at the situation. "It is extremely unusual for two people to pass away simultaneously without a significant reason, and I have dealt with thousands of death cases in my career." Reportedly, the state of the corpses shocked federal investigators upon their arrival. "You expect to see bodies in this line of work, but this was something else entirely," said an insider close to the investigation, describing their reaction as one of pure shock. The degree of decay inside the house makes it seem as though time stood still. Authorities were perplexed as to how the infamous actor and his wife could have remained hidden from the public eye for an extended period of time, allowing their bodies to decay in their home. In order to understand what happened, the results of the autopsies will be crucial, according to the authorities. Natural disasters, accidents, or even murder are all being investigated at the moment. One of Hollywood's most famous actors, Gene Hackman, passed away at the age of 95. He had significant roles in more than 80 films and won Oscars for The French Connection and Unforgiven. His roles as Lex Luthor in Superman films and The Royal Tenenbaums were well known to many fans. Film critics lauded his seamless transitions between dramatic, action, and comedic roles. According to one historian, he nailed action roles, showed great range in dramatic parts, and cracked jokes in comedies like Get Shorty. He had an astonishing range. For health reasons, Hackman announced his retirement from acting in 2009. The 2003 Golden Globes, where he was presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award, marked his final appearance at an awards ceremony. He and his wife were last seen in public in 2023, outside a New Mexico restaurant. With his cane in one hand and his wife's arm in the other, he appeared weak. Hollywood was rocked by the news of his death. Gwyneth Paltrow, who co-starred with Hackman in the film The Royal Tenenbaums, paid tribute to the late actor on social media by posting a photo of the two of them alongside an emoticon representing heartbreak. The New Mexico Gas Company was summoned to investigate potential gas leaks following the discovery of the bodies. Investigators wished to eliminate any potential risks since carbon monoxide poisoning was a preliminary theory. Nevertheless, the business discovered no problems after checking all of the gas lines. Authorities are still gathering evidence and waiting for toxicology and autopsy results, so the investigation is far from over. Authorities have promised the public that they will find out what happened to Betsy Arakawa and Gene Hackman, two people whose deaths have been shrouded in mystery. What transpired in the last days of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa at their home, and could the peculiar circumstances surrounding their demise disclose a more profound enigma? Let's investigate. The theories and questions that have yet to be resolved regarding the deaths of Betsy Arakawa and Gene Hackman. The bodies of Betsy Arakawa and Gene Hackman appeared to be drying out, which has sparked numerous inquiries regarding the duration of their remains' preservation and the circumstances surrounding their demise. Nature, an accident, or even self-inflicted harm could have been to blame, according to some. Something out of the ordinary may have occurred, according to some. The couple's front door was ajar when the sheriff's officers reached the scene. Some have wondered if they were feeling unwell and left the door open, while others have wondered if someone else came or went before the police got there. Behind the back door, in a cramped room, was where Hackman was discovered. Nearby, a cane and sunglasses gave the impression that he had fallen. Far across the house, in a bathroom, was Arakawa discovered. There was an open prescription bottle, pills all over the counter, and a space heater that had been knocked over. There were 3 indoor pets. One was found dead in a carton, while 2 others were still alive. If 2 canines were able to stay alive, it could mean that there was food or water available for some time. Dog and crate probably thirsty and starving, lending credence to the idea that couple had been dead for days, if not weeks. The skin can become leathery or stiff from being in the warm, dry air for too long, say the experts. The couple had likely been dead for a while, since this usually takes a few days to weeks. Although the exact temperature and humidity inside the house are unknown, the presence of a space heater close to Arakawa indicates that heating was likely in use. Because of this, the air dryer may have been able to speed things up. Unfortunately, the precise moment of demise cannot be determined without additional testing. Since the purported autopsy verified that there were no indications of a leak, and since firefighters and gas company employees did not find any, authorities have eliminated carbon monoxide poisoning as a possible cause. Neither of the victims appeared to have suffered any obvious injuries, and there was no indication that anyone had broken into the house. Regardless, the investigators are not ruling out any possible explanations. Some have hypothesized that this was an instance of someone putting the life of another person ahead of their own. But there aren't any outward indicators of violence, and in such instances, people usually leave notes or rearrange their surroundings, neither of which seem to have occurred here. Another possible explanation is that the couple decided to take their own lives, maybe because of health problems. Overdoses frequently occur when people in such situations lie down next to each other. This explanation also doesn't make much sense, though, because they were discovered in separate rooms. One of them may have died suddenly from something like a fall, sickness, or overdose, and the other may have succumbed shortly afterward because they were both overwhelmed. Arakawa might have discovered Hackman in the mudroom if he had fallen, and he might have taken pills to calm him down. Until the results of the tests reveal whether any substances were involved, though, this will not be clear. Environmental factors, such as severe dehydration or exposure to toxic substances, may also play a role. To determine whether any pre-existing conditions may have contributed to their untimely demise, investigators are currently reviewing their medical records. Since no definitive answers have been found thus far, the investigators are exploring every possible lead. Weeks or months may pass before their bodies undergo testing. To further determine if anything out of the ordinary occurred in the days leading up to their deaths, the police are also reviewing their medical records, emails, and phone records. Some have speculated that there may have been another actor. The open door gives the impression that someone may have been inside, even though there were no indications of forced entry. Whoever it was, whether a tourist, someone who had discovered them earlier, or someone out to do them harm, nobody knows for sure. As of this writing, the exact reason for death remains a mystery. Who knows if it was a terrible accident, their own choice, or something else entirely? The truth about what happened to Betsy Arakawa and Gene Hackman will remain a mystery until further information is provided by medical tests. Could the viewpoint of a loved one, however, provide fresh insight into the circumstances surrounding their deaths, which remain largely unexplained? Find out by continuing to watch. Deciphering the theory of carbon monoxide. The tragic death of Gene Hackman at the age of 95 has been discussed by his daughter, who has speculated that carbon monoxide poisoning may have been the cause. Elizabeth Gene Hackman told TMZ on Thursday that she thinks poisonous fumes might have killed them. A gas company has acknowledged its assistance in the investigation into the couple's disappearance. Following her father's passing, Gene Hackman's daughter spoke with the Daily Mail. Despite his advanced years, she remarked, he was in fine health. She went on to say that he showed no symptoms of illness prior to his death, leading her to suspect that gas leaks or carbon monoxide poisoning may have been contributing factors. She said he was in fantastic condition for his age. In addition, she brought up the fact that he had refrained from major surgeries in the months leading up to his passing. According to Leslie, her dad stayed healthy by regularly engaging in Pilates and yoga. The death of Betsy Arakawa at the age of 63 prompted more inquiries, she added, than his own death at 95. They had a wonderful marriage, she said, and she thinks Betsy was a major motivator for him. She gushed about how Betsy looked out for him and was constantly concerned about his well-being. According to Leslie, Betsy was extremely concerned about his well-being and provided him with excellent care. The fact that she is no longer here makes me sad, but I am eternally grateful to her for that. Hackman had 3 children with his first wife, Faye Maltese, one of whom is Elizabeth. They tied the knot in 1956 and later filed for a divorce in 1986. In 2017, Maltese went away. He disappeared from public view after leaving Hollywood. In the same city, he made an unusual public appearance to see a comedy performance. Annie, along with Gene Hackman's granddaughters Elizabeth and Leslie, is devastated by his death. It is with great sadness that we inform you of the passing of our father, Gene Hackman, and his wife, Betsy. Even though he was a superstar in the eyes of millions, we just thought of him as Dad and Grandpa. Words cannot express our sorrow at his passing. Our hearts are broken, expressed Annie Hackman and Elizabeth Leslie in a joint statement with People. Other famous actors and actresses paying tribute to Hackman include Morgan Freeman and Clint Eastwood. Eastwood spoke about his experience directing and co-starring with Hackman in the 1992 Western Unforgiven. Gene was the most gifted actor of all time. In a statement released on February 27, he stated that his performances were consistently authentic, impactful, and flawless. Beyond that, he was a dear friend, and his absence will be profound, he said. Many people are still reeling from the news of actor Gene Hackman's death, but he did leave an impression. What propelled Gene Hackman from the ranks of Hollywood's most revered performers? Making a lasting impression that will be cherished for years to come. More is coming soon. The illustrious career and unforgettable legacy of Gene Hackman. The Pasadena Playhouse, which is part of the illustrious California Art School, was Hackman's first acting venue. On the other hand, he had the lowest chance of success and was widely despised by his peers. This did not discourage Hackman. Instead, he felt compelled to prove them wrong and show the world what he was really capable of. He befriended Dustin Hoffman, a well-known Hollywood actor, while they were both performing at the Pasadena Playhouse. Hackman had trouble obtaining employment the first time around. His acting abilities and physical appearance were the deciding factors in each of the many rejections he faced at auditions. Nevertheless, he persisted in the face of these challenges. Working tirelessly, he persisted. He began performing in stage productions, albeit in supporting roles, and he steadily improved. After landing small parts in movies and TV shows, he began to see results from his hard work. Although he had his film debut in Lilith, it was his role in Bonnie and Clyde that catapulted him to stardom. He acted with ease and conviction as Buck Barrow, Clyde's brother. The performance was moving and powerful. The critical acclaim for his performance earned him a Best Supporting Actor Oscar nomination. This success catapulted him from supporting actor to one of Hollywood's hottest new stars. A watershed moment in his career came in 1971, when he played Popeye Doyle, a dogged police officer, in William Friedkin's The French Connection. In the crime film, Doyle was shown as a man who fought on both sides of moral and dangerous dilemmas. After winning the Academy Award for Best Actor for his remarkable performance, Hackman became a household name in Hollywood. Not only was the film commercially successful, but it also influenced numerous other crime films. This role catapulted Hackman to stardom in Hollywood. The French Connection was just the beginning of Hackman's prolific acting career. In Francis Ford Coppola's 1974 film The Conversation, he portrayed the role of surveillance expert Harry Call, who struggled with feelings of guilt and isolation. The role gave Hackman the opportunity to express profound emotions, and the film received an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. His performance was hailed by critics as one of his finest. Among his numerous notable 1970s films was Scarecrow, in which he co-starred with Al Pacino. The emotional depth of the film's depiction of friendship and isolation was enhanced by the close relationship between the two performers. Hackman starred opposite Christopher Reeve as Lex Luthor in 1978's Superman, a role that was drastically different from his previous work. He gave the villain wit and intelligence, elevating Lex Luthor to the ranks of cinema's most iconic villains. This part demonstrated that Hackman could captivate an audience with his comedic timing and charisma in addition to his talent for playing dramatic roles. Hackman kept taking on memorable parts as his career skyrocketed. Behind the scenes, though, did he start to feel the effects of his job and the years passing on his health? Continue watching to find out more. The unspoken wars and health difficulties faced by Gene Hackman. Hackman had a heart attack prevention procedure that same year he starred in Loose Cannons, Postcards from the Edge, and Narrow Margin, all of which were released in 1990. An angioplasty, in which a tiny balloon-like tube was inserted to clear a blocked artery near his heart, was performed on him when he was 60 years old. In 1990, United Press International reported this. His treatment was timely. UPI was informed by Dr. Herbert Semler. The good news is that the obstruction was conveniently located for us to use a balloon catheter to access and clear. As Hackman made his way to Oregon, he began to experience chest discomfort that eventually spread down one arm. Medical professionals warned him that a heart attack could happen at any moment, according to UPI. Additionally, Dr. Semler noted that Hackman had a complete absence of cardiac issues. And the clogged artery was plain old age. Talk show host Larry King of CNN interviewed Hackman in 2004 about the procedure. King wanted to know if he was scared. "I wouldn't say that. I guess that's why," Hackman said, "because I didn't fully grasp the gravity of the situation at the moment. It was all over in an instant. The very same day that I went in, I came out." Next, King wanted to know if he was worried about his health. According to Hackman, he tries to look after himself. "Few things terrify me. In my opinion, the fear of death is universal and becomes more prevalent with age. Assuring the financial security of my wife and children is my top priority. Besides that, I'm not very afraid of anything." Hackman said that he left acting mostly due to health issues in an interview he gave to Empire in 2009. "My heart wasn't in a good enough shape to deal with stress," according to the doctor. After Hackman retired, he and his wife moved to New Mexico, where he enjoyed writing, fishing, painting, and watching cheesy movies. In addition to penning westerns and crime novels solo, he collaborated with archaeologist Daniel Lenihan on 3 works of historical fiction. He went on to say that the pressure of writing is different. "Since you're by yourself, it's within your control. On the contrary, a full film crew will not be waiting for you to perform." In addition to his heart problems, Hackman was involved in a bike accident in 2012 in Isla Morada, Florida, when he was struck by a car. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, which spoke with CNN, 81-year-old Hackman was riding his bike without a helmet when a pickup truck collided with its rear. They took him to Miami's Ryder Trauma Center by helicopter. According to Hackman's spokeswoman, who spoke to Reuters later, the truck barely touched him, and his island location was the reason for his airlift to the hospital. He was discharged after a few days due to a few small bruises and bumps, she said. In your opinion, were there any unnatural factors that contributed to the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa? Put your 2 cents in the box below. You have my gratitude for taking the time to view this tutorial. We trust that it piqued your interest. Please subscribe and like the video. If you want to watch the latest celebrity news, just click the video that appears on your screen. We will meet there.